Hey, this is Dave Senna from Bold Leading. I'm really excited you've been joining us on this video series of how to have coffee with that favorite donor. On the past videos we've been talking about is how to pick the right spot, what to bring, how to greet them, how to have a conversation, and how to make the ask. And today what we're going to talk about is how to respond to a donor after they made a decision and told you what the decision is. Before I share that though, one of the things I want to say is that during this video series we've given you a lot of information and hopefully some things that you can learn from my experience. But one thing I've learned over the years of meeting with donors is that certainly I don't know everything. In fact, I love to talk to other fundraisers and hear what they have to say so I can learn more. I find myself that I'm a fundraising enthusiast, not an expert, somebody that's trying to uncover the best ways to connect with donors so that they can have joy and that when they give, we can continue with the mission or the vision of our organization. And that's why I do these video series, is to help to encourage you to meet with donors so that you can not only become a fundraising enthusiast, but you can become a fundraising expert. So back to our donor, and that donor is wanting to respond, and they have responded to you. So let's take some of the things that they may respond with. If they say yes, best thing to do is to say thank you. And then there may be some things you need to follow up with. If it's a capital campaign, you may have forms they need to sign. If it's an event, you may have to talk to them about tickets and other things. So just make sure you follow up with all the details if they say yes. And make sure you look them in the eye, say thank you, and really just celebrate that they're part of what you're doing. If they say no, one of the things that I want you to make sure that you don't do is panic. Don't do it. A no is just the beginning of the phrase not yet. You don't know why it's a no until you ask. And so if you feel comfortable, depending on how the interaction has gone, is just ask them, is this something they would consider in the future? And if it's not, ask them why. Maybe it's just something that they're not interested in. I know I've had donors, I had one donor tell me no 5 times in the same meeting. And finally we found something that he was thrilled to give to. Yeah, but it took a little creativity. Am I willing to just continue to ask respectfully? So I wasn't trying to be too pushy, but I could tell he wanted to give and to do something, but he wanted to give to something that he really was going to be thrilled about or excited about doing. And so we were just creative and brainstormed ways that he could be a part of what we're doing. And so don't give up, even if it's not in this meeting that they do go from a no to a yes. They might go from a no to the yes in the future. So you might just ask a simple thing like, well, I really appreciate that. I understand where you're coming from. And just wondering, is this something, if you'd like to come maybe on a tour, or maybe offer for them to come to events so they get more information. And try to get a yes to something after that no, whether it's just a follow-up visit, and just something, whether it's another event or whatever it may be. But you've got to gauge it. You're the only one can make that decision in that moment as to how far to push things and what to ask for after that initial no. Sometimes it's best to just accept the no and be very grateful for their time, appreciate them, look in the eye, thank them for what they've done already, and then get out of there. Write a thank you note to them after the fact. Wait a couple months when you have an event and then re-engage with them. So a no can be simply not yet. If it's a yes, thank them. No matter what you do, make sure that you respect their decisions and look them in the eye and then appreciate them as a person. They'll remember that, and you just might be surprised what they do after the meeting. They may tell somebody about what's happened and how they enjoyed it. You just never know. But be respectful to their decisions and just say thanks. That's the best thing to do in those situations. And so this is Dave Senna from Bold Leading. We've been on this series for a little bit, and we want to encourage you to meet with your donors. 5 or 10 names is all you need. Call them until you get a visit. Set something up for 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., whatever it may be. Get coffee with them. Put all this into practice, and then let us know how it went. Visit us on Facebook, Twitter, send us an email. However you communicate online, let us know. And if you have some tips that we haven't covered in the video series, we would certainly love to learn from you. We're fundraising enthusiasts, and we appreciate the insight that you may have. Again, that's Dave Senna. We look forward to seeing you online, and most of all, we hope and encourage that you would visit with the donor over coffee.